This is such a supportive and accomplished group, and so nice. So thank you so much for letting me be a part of your day today. I'm really excited to speak. There's also a lot of expertise in this room about public speaking, so if we have any time at the end of this, I'll probably draw upon some of the advice that you've collectively brought here today. So as John said, I'm a communication coach. I help people at various stages of their professional careers navigate interpersonal and external communication topics. Today I'm going to talk about the scariest one, is whenever you have to get up in front of an audience. What are the types of things that you can do to give yourself as much preparation as you need and to feel really confident giving that type of talk? So these are the takeaways that I hope you walk away with today. One is to create memorable content. How do you write stuff that sticks with people? Natural versus rehearsed. How can you come off talking in a way that sounds really conversational versus sounding like you're sticking to your script word for word? Be efficient and effective. As John demonstrated earlier, how do you speak in a way that makes your point in a really tight way? Physiological and psychological tips to overcome nerves. These are some research-based ways to make you feel more calm, both when you are preparing for your talk and when you're actually giving it. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with some resources for things to follow up on if you want to continue improving your public speaking. So as much as you guys are here to see the speakers at Scottsdale Living, you are here to meet each other, and that's the fun part of it. I'm going to wrap that up into a public speaking exercise. I would like people to pair up in twos, if possible. If you get a 3 in there, that's okay. But I'm going to give 3 minutes on each side to answer this prompt. What's the story of how you got into your business or field? You may know the answer to that already with the person you're talking to, so answer it however you feel comfortable. So I'm going to give people a chance to find their partner, and I'm going to start the time. And I'll give you a holler within 3 minutes. I'm ready to transition. Might be the highlight of this talk, and that is definitely okay with me. So I'd like to invite a couple of volunteers to talk about one thing from their partner's story that was particularly memorable to them. What's something that stuck out to you about what your partner said? Yes?
So my partner said, Dimitri, sorry.
Yeah.
So he was saying he knew right away he did not like school and came to America and didn't want to go through those boring classes. He saw something on TV that sparked his interest in hair and makeovers, and he made a decision off something that inspired him, like on a point.
Yeah, that is awesome. Yeah, I could visualize that pathway as you were describing it. Very good listening skills. Yes.
So one thing that Karen did tell me is that she is still not a fan of public speaking, but the more that she does it, definitely the better she's gotten. She did even shout out Amber. She's like, Amber does it like so naturally. I don't know how she could do it so naturally. And that was one of the things, I think, when you're around other people who are really good at networking and really good at public speaking, it naturally makes you better as well.
Yeah, it's like a positive contagion, like it grows on you. Michael.
I got to know Heidi a little bit more, and what jumps out at me was the serendipity of her journey and a chance encounter at a law school reading that brought her into the work that she's doing now. And the evolution of her practice will be more speaking and teaching and handing off the admin side of her practice to somebody else so she can exercise her unique genius.
Could people hear that in the back? Yeah, okay. That was like a teaser trailer for a movie that I need to watch about Heidi's life. I mean...
And extra points for serendipity.
Yeah. I mean, huge cliffhanger in that right there. Very exciting. I'll tell you a little bit about my background. John mentioned this. But my first career, sorry for the blurry images blown up here, I had to take screenshots of old footage. My first career was as a broadcast journalist, and I worked in a couple of cities across the country. I worked in Houston, I worked in Boston, and it was a fascinating job where I got to learn so much about people, but I only had 90 seconds to share what I thought was fascinating about people with viewers. With such little time, how could I capture people's attention, regardless of the type of story, whether it was severe weather or a new medical device? What was it going to do to get people to remember what I was talking about? A human element, a character, a narrative. So the conversations that you just had some striking striking things that I'm going to walk away with this talk and remember. Dimitri's story about coming here from a different country and seeing something on TV that sparked him. Heidi's serendipity that I still don't know the full story about yet, but I will ask her after this. It's the people. That's why you guys are here at this meeting. That's why you walk out and remember, I want to continue these conversations. Those are the same types of ingredients that go into a good talk or a speech that you're about to give. So when you're writing your speech, one of the questions you always want to ask yourself, how can I add a human element or a character to this? How can I put it at the top of what I'm talking about? Who is this impacting and how can a listener relate to them? Now, depending on your industry, it might not always feel organic or natural to do that. So what I highly recommend people do is that they have a notes tab available on their iPhone or whatever phone that you have, and be on the lookout for the daily stories that pop up in your routines. So that might be a really positive customer engagement story where somebody is so grateful to you because of the service that you provided, the product that you've shared with them. It might be an employee or colleague that works at your company that has a great personal success story while working at the company. If you're constantly looking for these stories and jotting them down, the next time you have to give a public speech, you're going to have a ton of source material to work from when you're trying to make a connection with the audience. So as you are crafting your story, a lot of people feel like the emphasis is on the rehearsal, but it starts with the writing, how you can be compelling. Conciseness is the first thing that I recommend to people. How can you, sorry?
It moved by itself.
Conciseness and lack of technological error. Okay, thank you for that. So how to be concise. A lot of people get trapped and nervous and want to say a lot more than they need to get their point across. This is particularly an issue with academics, professors, faculty members. That might be the extreme example, but a lot of experts across the board are so good at what they do, and they're so immersed in what they do, they forget what other people don't know. So in order to kind of combat that kind of trap, there are a couple of things you can do. How can I say more with less? How can I be less repetitive about my points? Have I said what I needed to say, and does it really need to be added on to? To be clear, similar to being concise, and there's a lot that can go under that umbrella, but the point that I like to highlight is industry jargon. So I mentioned before the academics, the professors, but whatever you do, there's a lot of special terms that you know that other people don't. And when you kind of bury yourself in that information, you start to have a communication gap with people who are getting farther and farther from knowing the things that you know about what you do. So how do you get out of that trap? I highly recommend on a regular basis to even take something really complicated about what you do and explain it to someone who has no idea, far away from the field. It can be someone in your household, it can be a relative that you speak with on a regular basis, but regardless of who it is, the challenge that you have is to break down what you know into terms that somebody can understand who has no idea what you do. It's going to make you a clear communicator across the board. And lastly, cohesiveness. When you are crafting whatever you're going to say, even if it's just in a meeting with fellow colleagues or employees, don't muddy your message with tangents or things that don't apply to the focal point that you're trying to prove, because that's going to make you a more powerful and effective speaker. So we're going to look at an example of 2 ways to say the same thing. So imagine that this is somebody who's created a great app for teachers. They're really excited about it. On the left, from looking at the wireframe developed, I've created a functional edtech management system that allows educators the opportunity to eliminate cumbersome tasks like grading and assignment tracking through AI and a single platform user-friendly app.
Say what?
Exactly. Let's look at the right side. My AI-based app can cut down grading time for teachers by 95%.
Boom.
Boom is exactly right. Even though we can all feel what the better one is, I would like a couple volunteers to explicitly lay out why. What makes the right side more interesting to you than the left side?
Concise.
Right.
People will have attention span now.
Exactly. Short attention spans.
It's solving a problem.
Exactly.
It's efficient. Like not the wording, but it actually created a solution. The other one I have no idea.
Right.
It's creating problems.
Right. More questions and answers. Yeah.
Mostly single syllable words.
That's a good thing. That's a nice detail to point out. Yeah.
It's quantifiable as well. It's actually articulating quantifiably what you can do, how much it can help you.
That's great. It's putting into data that we can wrap our minds around why this is effective. Right, Renee?
Well, kind of like what she said, most people aren't going to understand a lot of the words on the left side, especially in today's.
Right. It's full of jargon.
You're talking about a result versus a process.
Fantastic. A result versus a process. So obviously you guys were able to wrap up really effectively why the right side is better than the left side. It's a lot easier to see it than when you're writing it yourself, but it's really good to keep in mind. How can I say what I'm trying to say with less? So now we're going to talk a little bit about after you like the content that you're thinking about putting together, how can you write it in a way that helps you sound less scripted? So this is a trick that we used in journalism, and it's still something that I use today, and that's to put someone that you know at the top of the page when you're starting to write out what you're talking about. This should be someone you know really well. I put, hey Mike, that's my husband, somebody that you would have a conversation with. Now when you start writing your speech like this, it helps you to speak like you sound, not like you write. A lot of times, a huge pitfall for people when they're writing out their speech is they start to write out really formally, and it starts to sound more like a textbook or a newspaper article, and when you deliver that kind of speech, it just doesn't sound natural. When you write like this, it's going to be colloquial, obviously. There's going to be informalities you probably wouldn't use with certain audiences, but it's a lot easier to start conversationally and then build in the formality as necessary than go the other way around. It helps you avoid that industry jargon, because again, if you're talking to a friend, a spouse, a relative, you can't rely on those words as much. It gives you an authentic and trustworthy feel versus kind of a robotic, rehearsed cadence. And lastly, it organically adds pronouns that connect you with the audience, like you, we, us, automatically bringing people's attention to you instead of feeling like it's just kind of depersonalized, detached talk.
Would you recommend, like if you're trying to write like you sound, not like you write or whatever, would you recommend like text to speech on your phone and you just kind of speak it into that?
That's a great idea. I love that idea. Hopefully you guys all heard that. But yeah, using a dictation device, whether it's on your phone or on your computer, and just having that conversation. Hey, this is the talk I'd like to start writing about. Here's what I'm going to explain to you, X, Y, Z, and then transcribing it and then formalizing it from there. That is a really fantastic idea. So when you've gotten all your content written down, now we're at the rehearsal part. What are the types of ways that you can rehearse that can make you feel really comfortable in front of people? So the first thing is to film yourself talking. Out of curiosity, how many people have seen a recorded version of themselves talk? Most of the people in this room. And as cringy as it can feel, it is the fastest way to figure out your physical or verbal quirks. When I first started in news, one of the weirdest things that I did was rock back and forth while I talked. I didn't do that in my normal life, and I had no idea I did it until it was captured on live television and brought to my attention by my news director, and I couldn't argue with it because there it was, and it looked really weird, but it was nipped in the bud that day. I never did it again. And if you don't film yourself, you can't necessarily catch those things. The other nice thing about recording yourself is you can send it to a trusted person and say, what do you think? And they can give you on-the-spot feedback. The last point I want to make about that is you can watch yourself improve. You can watch yourself give a speech and then watch yourself give a similar talk a couple months later and say, wow, I am a lot better at not doing X, Y, Z. The power of the pause. A lot of us rely on filler words. I know I have my filler word weaknesses. like, so, you know, right? If you start eliminating them in your regular daily life, it's going to be a lot easier to eradicate them when you're giving a public speech. So I would encourage you, challenge you to start noticing what's my filler word if you don't know it already. And every time you're tempted to say it, even when you're talking to somebody in a routine way, pause instead of say that filler word. One of the reasons we rely on filler words is because we don't like silence. It's uncomfortable for us, and we're trying to transition from one thought to another. If you pause, you realize that that's not a lot of time. It doesn't detract from what you're going to say, and it makes what you're saying less distracting to the other person when they're focusing on all the filler words that you're making in between. So you can start trying the pauses instead of the filler words today and feel how it sounds. Simulating reality is something that can help you when you are rehearsing for a speech. How can you recreate the ambiance of where you're going to speak as closely as possible? If you're going to talk on Zoom for virtual talk, practice that way. Practice in front of your computer with the Zoom camera on so you can see what you look like. If you're going to talk in a conference room in your office, is that conference room available to you when nobody else is in there for you to go in there and talk? You might have a large audience that you're going to speak to and you need an auditorium size. You would be surprised at the libraries that you can book these large rooms for free. Anything that you can do to make yourself comfortable with this space, that's going to help you feel way less nervous when it's time to talk. The pare down method. This is a way to come off your script and sound more natural. When you start writing, it's completely okay to write everything out word for word. But as you get really comfortable with that, try to start condensing your notes down. So go from word to summary paragraphs, to a few sentences, to just words and phrases on bullet points that help you transition from one thought to another. That's going to make you feel a lot more confident about what you're talking about and not get nervous if you missed one word versus another word. When you're actually out there, or when you're about to be out there, what are ways to keep calm and stay confident? Well, one of the ways that's actually not on this board that helps me a lot, something that I do, is try to come early and get to know people that you're talking to before. I got to meet some really great people right before this, and it made me so much more comfortable because I actually felt like I was talking to people that I liked and enjoyed. So that could be a great thing. Come in, try to meet a couple of people beforehand. Definitely calms the nerves. Reframing anxiety as excitement. Okay, this is a really interesting research-based way to change anxiety to a positive feeling, and it's something that you can harness and use not just in public speaking, but for anything that feels scary to you. So the examples of how you can do this are going to sound surprisingly simplistic, but they actually work. So anxiety and excitement have similar physiological representations. You're kind of up, you're tight, your body's responding the same way. One thing that you can do is you can start to reframe how you feel as answering the sentence, this is an opportunity to. Instead of thinking of all the doomsday scenarios you're about to go into, this is an opportunity to share something I really care about with people. This is an opportunity to give people the chance to hear about something valuable that I have to offer. This is an opportunity to work on my public speaking. Once you start doing that, you can actually train your mind to not fear the scenarios that you've been creating as much. Grounding techniques. These are little tricks to help you stay in the present. So let's say that you can't help the negative spiraling that's going on in your mind right before you're about to say something. A grounding technique is something that helps you to eliminate all of that and just focus on stuff that's around you. So one thing is called the 3-3-3 rule, and that's looking around the room and thinking of what are 3 things that I can see, what are 3 things that I can touch or move, what are 3 things I could hear or listen to. Another grounding technique is counting backwards from 500 by 13s. Something that engages your mind and forces you to do something that doesn't give you room or cognitive space to be nervous or to think of bad scenarios. Diaphragmatic breathing. Yes, Heidi.
One more grounding technique that I learned for speaking. If you will, when you first show up, if you'll strike the Superman pose, there is something really amazing physiologically about what happens when you just assume that pose, just briefly for a second, and then go into whatever you're going to do. I don't know what that is.
No, there's actually a lot of research behind what Heidi's talking about. Heidi's talking about power poses, and probably a lot of you have heard of them, but there are certain poses that you can strike that will empower you physiologically. Your body will respond to them and give you this magical confidence. So one of them, as Heidi's talking about, is just standing like this. Another one, you don't have to do this during your talk, but right before, is literally standing like this, like a big star. Yeah, and making yourself huge. So if you're alone right before you go on a stage, do that. You'll get this surge of confidence. Thank you for pointing that out. Diaphragmatic breathing. Has anyone done this or tried? Okay, so a couple people in the room. So this is another research-based way to bring your cortisol hormones down, your stress level. So diaphragmatic breathing is breathing from your abdomen area solely and not from your chest. This takes a little bit of practice, but if you do it just for 15, 20 seconds, you'd be surprised at how calming it can be. I highly recommend watching a YouTube tutorial on it and doing a little bit of it every day. Lastly, some public speaking experts recommend having something to shock your system physically. So having a really cold water bottle in your hand right before you go on for a talk, putting it on your neck, anything that you can do to tell your body, snap out of it. We're not going to be nervous right now. We're going to focus on something else. What's that?
Stimulates the vagus nerve.
Stimulates the vagus nerve. Yes.
My wife, she's a therapist, and she loves this snake breath, and she taught me that where, and it's just the way you release it kind of helps bring your cortisol levels and kind of grounds you too. So the snake breath. So we hiss at each other, but
people think it's like a weird pet thing you guys are doing with each other, but in fact, you're just calming yourself down. That's great. Thank you for sharing that. Okay, we're going to go on to the resources portion. So when you leave, what else can you do to make yourself a better public speaker? This is a screenshot from Microsoft Teams, and it is an example of how far AI has come in being able to give you real-time quantitative feedback on exactly how you're doing. On the left side, you can see, it can detect the filler words you're saying, how many times you have said them, how fast are you talking? Are you talking faster in the beginning of the meeting versus the end of the meeting? Your pitch, repetitive language. I mean, it is really incredible what technology can do for public speaking these days. Not just Microsoft Teams. Oh yeah.
What is this one?
This is Microsoft Teams. So yeah. So if your business uses this, you don't have to, but it's called Presentation Coach, and you can turn it on, and it will give you real-time feedback. There are other apps, like there's one called Speako, and while this one doesn't give you real-time meeting feedback, what it does is it invites you to practice your public speaking every day through different prompts, and it will evaluate the same things for you. So you can do it as much as you want to. So there's some really, really cool resources in the technology vein there.
That's a great tool for teams, because the whole point of teams is presenting with the group, and your team. So any kind of help that an employee can get would be great.
Absolutely. It's also that's a great point Dave brought up, and I also want to elaborate on that. If you have somebody you know that you feel could use public speaking help, but they may not necessarily be receptive to feedback, it is a data-driven way to show them how they could improve. So it's hard to argue with numbers. So this resources page was supposed to be an image that was showing Toastmasters. And so Toastmasters, probably most of you have heard of, but what I wanted to talk to you about Toastmasters is that if you didn't know, there's Toastmasters in Old Town. They meet weekly. Super supportive, communal network of people who are all trying to work on their public speaking, and they give you the opportunity to present a rehearsed speech that you've prepared for the day, and also these little impromptu question cards so you can practice your speaking on the spot. But if you want to do some more meeting people in a supportive environment, that's a great way. And lastly, you can hire a public speaking coach. Obviously, my website is targetedgoalsconsulting.com. I really enjoy doing this. It's something that is invigorating and is so much fun to watch someone be great. And so I do public speaking coaching, communication skills interpersonally, as I mentioned in the beginning, media training, leadership coaching, goal setting, productivity, time management, motivation. And if you're curious whether there's something that you yourself or somebody in your organization wants to work on and it's not listed here, please email me directly. I'm happy to chat. I was born and raised in Arizona. I live in Scottsdale. It's a really incredible opportunity for me to be here today. Thank you for being so welcoming, so encouraging.
Do you work with people that want to do public speaking as a career, as a job?
Yes.
And what's that progression kind of look like?
Yeah, absolutely. So there are various levels of types of public speaking that I help people with. If that's something that somebody wants to do, absolutely, I can help them with that. A lot of times that will be on how to bring that to life, to bring that vision to life, how to find opportunities to do that more and more often. When you get to a certain level of wanting to make public speaking your career, probably it's a good idea to get an agent and who can start booking you bigger and bigger talks in front of different types of conferences. But yes, that's how I would first start answering that question. Absolutely, I would love to help somebody who wanted to do that, and there are all sorts of ideas to go on with that. Any other questions?
All right, that was Alana Garcia. Thank you so much. Goals consulting. So now we're going to do our commercials, right? So 30 seconds? 30 seconds?
We'll do 30. I
30
have an
seconds.
idea for this one.
Go. Bring it.
Okay, so you guys all met each other, even if it's one of your first meetings today. So today we're going to do it just a little bit different. You are going to give your commercial, and then you're going to give a 5-second introduction to the next person, shake their hand, and introduce them. You all met the person next to you. So you get to introduce the next person to the best of your ability. Okay? Yeah, so I'm going to put you on the spot. You have to come up with something quick. It can be something easy. Then you're going to say your name, your business name, what you do best by speaking about your best result and who you can help. Okay? Not, hi, I treat everybody with knee pain. You want to give who you can help the best and how you can help them the best. And then maybe something about the best part of what you do. So yes, we have about 30 seconds. Well, we have a little bit more time than that today. Okay, so I'm going to go first. Come on up, Dimitri. Okay. Yeah, we'll give you 5 seconds. Go ahead. In case you need to know the person next to his name. You may not. You may introduce the next person in line. There's only one in one. Okay, go ahead. All right. You ready? Good morning. I have the pleasure of introducing my friend Dimitri Messin. He's the owner of Red Chair Salon. He does amazing work, and he has done my hair to perfection, like Ariel style quality hairdo. It was amazing. It was a wonderful experience. Without further ado, my friend Dimitri.
Thank you. Thanks for everybody. Thanks, Emma. Actually said, my name is Dimitri. I own a small studio in North Scottsdale called Red Chair Salon. I specialize in hair, mostly women, but I do men's hair as well. I personally enjoy doing makeovers, total makeover, from cutting, coloring, extensions, and everything. But my true passion is doing a lot of editorial work where you don't see anything working on the street, something kind of avant-garde, crazy. If you haven't seen any fashion shows where like who would wear something like that, that's what I enjoy the most. I'm so nervous.
Ground yourself.
Drown myself. I'm gonna use it. I lost my train of
Best part
thought.
of what you do.
The best thing that what I do?
The best part of what you do.
I feel like, how do I say it?
You give people confidence.
Yes, I was gonna say, I give people confidence, make them feel good about themselves every day. Like, teaching them how to do their own hair. Not only because when I do people's hair in my salon and in the chair, it's great, they look looking great, but it's also I feel it's my job to make sure they can recreate the same look at home on their own. So, yeah, both men and women. So, Dimitri Messin, Red Chair Salon. If you don't look good, we don't look good.
Okay, 5-second intro, handshake, hand it off.
Alright, I'm going to introduce Mike, I don't know your last name. Anderson. Mike Anderson. Oh, it's so bad. I know you do consulting for performance consulting, but I'm not exactly sure what exactly you do.
I'll take it from here.
Alright. Mike Anderson.
Thank you, Dimitri. Mike Landers, Next Level Performance Consulting. When you're building your empire, I'm the one you call to make sure you don't leave yourself behind in the process. We use fitness as a gateway to bring your life into alignment. My favorite story, I've never sold a company for 8 figures, but it was through our process that I helped my client put everything into place to set himself up for M&A. He had got himself to a point, grown his company to a place where with the resources and the education that he had, he could take it no further on his own. So by figuring out what alignment looked like in the hereafter, he now sits on that board and he does all the things that he wants to do and none of the shit that he has to do. It's an incredible situation to be in, and that's where the prime example of where we want all of our clients to end up. So, Michael Landers, Next Level Performance Consulting, progress always. I now have the pleasure of introducing Heidi Thompson to talk about the serendipity that brought her into estate consulting.
Thank you, appreciate it. And that'll be a one-to-one story, but Heidi Thompson, your legacy lifeguard with Lifeguarding Legacies. I'm an estate planning attorney. I go to people's homes and help them with wills and trust. I'm going to do my cheesiest commercial today on why you need an estate plan to save your marriage. Okay, so for a woman, love is security. It's knowing that she and the kids will be taken care of, and let's face it, women will outlive men by 15 years statistically. So that is an important thing to make your wife feel your love. For the husband, a husband receives love as respect. When the woman feels comfortable and confident that she's okay, guess what? The natural reaction is love and respect of the husband. You want to save your marriage, you make sure you get your estate plan done. Heidi Thompson with Lifeguarding Legacies, where you know I'm all about that trust, And I have the privilege of introducing Krista. She is a financial advisor. So if you haven't got your finances in order to figure out how you can best save for retirement, make sure that you've got your tax planning done ahead, and make sure that your family is taken care of, because frankly, the estate plan doesn't do a lot of good if you don't have money in it. Krista.
Thank you, Heidi. As a financial advisor, I would absolutely second what she said. You need an estate plan. We are referring that out constantly. Again, Krista Zalak, owner of Zalak Financial. We help our clients reduce and mitigate their money from income taxes forever. I know everyone likes the sound of that in here. Who we are able to best help? Honestly, it's you guys, business owners. Business owners have unique challenges, high income, maybe they're looking for ways to save on taxes. We have strategic ways to help them do that, but most importantly, create a plan where they feel secure. With that, the best part of my job, I think, is the relationships. Getting to know clients, helping them achieve their goals personally or financially, whatever that may be, and really just being a trusted person where one of my favorites is grab the wine, let's talk finances, and here we go. It's fun. With that, again, I am Krista Zalak, owner of Zalak Financial. And I have the privilege of introducing Ahmad. He is in real estate consulting, where they specialize in assisted living facilities. Not so much on the operations side, but he really has a passion for finding the right real estate opportunities for the people in need of those assisted living. So pass that to you.
Like Krista was saying, I specialize in acquiring, licensing, and staffing these facilities. These are residential facilities, up to 10 bed, and they've been around for about 25 years. Right now we have about 1,200 facilities. The best part of my job is 5 years ago, I had a guy who just barely scraped together a couple $100,000 to buy a facility, shit credit, almost impossible loan. He's worth $10 million now. So I got him his first one, and I've done them all for him ever since. And yeah, he's killing it right now. So I don't have a slogan, but yeah, if you guys want to invest in that, do it. Thank you. Sorry, I don't know.
Still want to say that.
Let me introduce Zach Stewart. He owns Recovery Room, IV Therapy. Getting into the stuff. The IV stuff. The ketamine therapy. He's doing ketamine therapy pretty soon, right? And yeah, great stuff. I've had an IV from him before. It felt great. The hangover was gone right away. So.
My name is Zach Stewart, owner of Recovery Room, IV Therapy and Wellness. Lots of exciting stuff recently. Added a brand new naturopathic doctor to our facility who is young, vibrant, she's super smart. We met her. I got certified with the National Academy of Ozone Therapists by Dr. Frank Schellenberger in Reno. I spent a few days with him, which was amazing. I'm certified by him now to do ozone therapy, and that's a whole other talk that I can get into with you guys at another time. But anyway, we have a new naturopath. Our ideal clients, anyone who feels like your wellness is struggling, your health, there's things that we can address without you having to get on medications and pay Big Pharma a lot of money and be stuck on drugs that are going to kill you. We like to help you naturopathic ways. So IV therapy, hangovers, vitamin therapy, naturopathic medicine, ozone therapy now. We do stem cell and exosome therapy as well. So once again, Zach Stewart, owner of Recovery Room, IV Therapy and Wellness.
Guys, this is Crystal Linkazi. She is actually a good friend of mine. She is amazing. She's super smart in nutrition, really good at skincare. So I'm going to let her take over.
Crystal Linkazi, Baroaesthetic Skincare and Nutrition. And so I help people find the confidence to rock the skin that they're in. We specialize in problematic skin, especially acne, anti-aging, melasma. One of the favorite things that I have are skincare transformations, like taking somebody who's had severe acne and watching that clear up and the confidence it brings back to them. Or more recently, I had a 65-year-old woman where we did a few laser treatments, judged up her diet a little and her skincare, and she's able to like confidently go out there without makeup on, noticeable tightness in her skin, and she just like, she cried a little, so I cried a little too. She's just helping people to bring that confidence back is just huge. That's what I love best about my job. And then this is my new friend Dave. He does content marketing for businesses.
Yes.
Yes. He's going to introduce himself.
Thank you. Thanks. I'm Dave Murrow. I've been in the Valley 15 years, Scottsdale resident about 7 years. I've played in rock bands. I've led my rock bands. I've done social, promo, all that stuff. I've worked for large agencies and large companies in the Valley doing communications and social media and PR. So I've got a wide-ranging communications background. Today, I'm mostly through the pandemic and into now, I'm a remote contract content marketer. I work with companies for their social media, their blogging, their content. I'll help them with their AI strategy a little bit. As we evolve with all of our content communications, I'm trying to be that guy that they can call and get the work done. I'm fast, reliable, dependable. Dave Murrow at Think Fast Media. I'm on LinkedIn and social as B2B content guy. Yes. I'm about to introduce a wonderful artist, teacher, coach, Deborah Lee Murrow. I also happen to sleep with her most nights.
Hello, I'm Deborah Lee Murrow from the Color Me Art Spa. I am here to get you all creating. So I have a line of coloring posters, postcards, canvases. If anybody's going to be here tomorrow night, we will be painting a sea turtle. So I love to help people find passion through maybe what they did as a child and bring that through. So I coach through art. I teach a myriad of art classes, and I speak about greatness and purpose. So that is the best thing that I do. I give you confidence where people come up and they try to paint something. They say to me, I'm not creative. Well, that doesn't come out of your mouth again. Or I'm not an artist. That doesn't come out of your mouth again. So that's the best thing I can do, is stop those negative talk about yourself. So Deborah Lee Murrow from the Color Me Art Spa, get creating now. I'd like to introduce a good friend of mine, Dana from Sleepy TV. She has an amazing setup for parties from adults to kids. Sleepy TV.
Thank you. I am Dana Basiak. I am owner of AZ Sleepy TV, where we make stylish memories that last a lifetime. No more are the sleeping in sleeping bags on the floor. It's not a thing anymore. You don't do it. You hire me. We have really cool teepees, decor. We've got over 40 themes for kids to have indoor sleepovers. We do outdoor sleepovers and glamping tents. We do picnics. We do chill tents, lounge tents, balloon decor, and I will also plan your entire party for you. So my ideal client is a mom who wants the whole service, wants us to come, set it up, and then come back the next day, take it down, and not leave a mess behind. That is what we do. We drive up to your house, set it up, it looks amazing, it's Instagram worthy, and then the next day we come back, take it down, take care of the laundry, it gets professionally cleaned, everything gets disinfected, all of that fun stuff. So also they have to have a little bit of money, a little bit of money to spend on that fun stuff. But that is our ideal client. And I think, what's the next part? Best part. Okay, so I used to be a teacher and I love working with kids. However, the income was not what I wanted. So the best part of what I do, granted the majority of our clients are, we do parties for kids, but we also do things for adults, but it's when the kids come into the room and their face and they love the setup and they thank you profusely afterwards. I'm still getting to that little one-on-one connection with those kids and making a difference in their lives. So my introduction, Patrick, he is a real estate attorney. So I don't know much else than that.
That was a great introduction. Thank you. Patrick Knackley, Medalist Legal. We're your full-service real estate law firm. For a group like this, I generally like to pitch our service that you're all generally in a commercial space or you're governed by an HOA, whether or not that's in your business, at home, or both. And what we can do is help you negotiate terms in a commercial lease that are negotiable and understand the risks in those leases where the terms aren't negotiable. Many of you will get married to a space. You want to be there regardless of what the terms are in the lease. Let me help you understand what some of those negatives can be, even if you're going to be there, so that in case some of those things come up, you understand what those risks are and potentially how you can navigate them. Same thing when you're dealing with your HOA. You've got your architectural guidelines, you've got your designs. We can help you go through, understand what the risks are, understand how you might be able to navigate those risks, so that you're not getting into these conflict situations with your landlord and or your HOA. And what, the most recent accomplishment we had was negotiating a situation with a client that had a 2 or 3 year long dispute with their homeowners association over the irrigation system and flooding that was occurring not only in his unit, but in the entire building. So we were able to navigate a situation with the Department of Real Estate, get everything squared away. They paid for the flooding and they fixed the irrigation. It was a positive outcome for the client without him hating, or anyone on the board hating him, right? So I will now introduce Ronnie. Come on down.
Thank you.
Ronnie owns a handyman service, but handyman does not adequately describe everything that they can do. Handyman Connection.
Thanks so much, bud. Appreciate it. Ryan Hopkins, Handyman Connection, one of the Valley's maintenance, repair, and remodeling service. Been helping customers since 2001. Who here has dealt with a contractor that didn't show up, they couldn't get a hold of, didn't have quality work? That's our secret sauce. You don't have to worry about that with us. We've got a full-time office staff Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, they'll price small jobs remotely. We have apps and technology that'll show you when somebody's on their way. You know that you can trust us that we'll be there. We've been in business since 2001, so you can trust us. We warranty all our work. We stand behind it. My favorite part about what we do is relationships. So I love to develop relationships with different vendor partners, different trades, things like that, as well as remodeling and some of our different individual customers. So that's my favorite part about what we do. Ryan Hopkins, Handyman Connection. I have the honor of introducing Nicolette Leone from Next Level Chiropractic. If anybody's ever had an issue with back pain, they know it's seriously debilitating. I had disc problems before, and it was just crazy. So everybody please meet Nicolette.
I'm Dr. Nicolette Leone with Next Level Chiropractic and Integrated Health. We're located in North Scottsdale at Pinnacle Peak in Hayden. We offer chiropractic services, medical, IV therapy, and physical therapy. Very patient, we're very patient focused in our office. We love just taking care of our patients, making sure they feel better, they leave happy. My background is in orthopedics, so it's fun to kind of have a very diverse family practice. We specialize, being a former athlete, we specialize with athletes, personal injury, and concussion testing. So we'll offer new concussion testing within 4 minutes. So we'd love to have you guys swing by and check us out. And I have the pleasure of introducing Chaz from Claiborne Counseling.
So my name is Chaz Karaki. I am the Director of Operations of Claiborne Counseling. We are a husband-wife owned therapy practice. We see kids, we see teens, we see adults, we see families, and we see couples. One thing that makes this different is that all of our therapists are trained in trauma-informed modalities, specifically EMDR therapy. You hear trauma, you're like, I don't have any trauma. Well, okay, so this is where I get to geek out a little bit, okay? So I love the medieval days, okay? I love knights. So what most people don't realize is as we're getting older, we develop pieces of armor to protect us for the time that we're going through, for the time when we actually need that armor. Could be 6 years old, could be 15, could be 20. Well, now we're all sitting here and we're in our 30s, 40s, and 50s, and we've got all this armor on, and we keep making the same mistakes. So even though we keep making the same mistakes and our logical brain is telling us, hey, don't do that, we're still doing that. So EMDR is actually a modality that'll go in and shift it. And when I say it doesn't get rid of the armor, but it helps you choose to put it on and off when you do need it. So Chaz Karaki with Claiborne Counseling, we'll talk about, okay, hold on. Now, what has it done for me? So this is something that I've done myself personally. My wife and I have both done EMDR therapy. You gotta practice what you preach. I've been able to get rid of my people pleasing. No is a complete sentence. That took me a long time to figure out. I've been able to target my OCD and my fear around safety and stop you can't ever stop the fear from creeping in your head, but you can stop the compulsion. And that's one thing I've been able to really work on. I mean, so Chaz, there we go. So Chaz Karaki, Real Talk, Real Work, Real Change. I have the pleasure of introducing Julie Clark. Her and I have actually been friends for over 5 years. She owns a company called Window Coverings by Julie. She just did our blinds in our office about a year ago. And this is one thing I'm going to say about her. People aren't measured when everything's going right. People are measured when everything starts going wrong. And Julie, when they originally set up the blinds, one part of it broke. And I was able to call her. She had her guy out there that next week. They got it fixed. They didn't charge me a dime. So Julie Clark with Window Coverings by Julie.
So, Window Coverings by Julie, my customer that I can help values or understands the value of Formica versus granite and marble on their countertops. Well, my window coverings, my main line is Hunter Douglas, and we are the granite and the marble of window coverings. What does that look like? Well, our shades are built the best, they look the best, and they last the longest. So I cover your and I do it with style. So experience the difference.
Nice.
So I would like to, I'd like to introduce Jen, because I'm in the trades, I run into other tradespeople, and I've known Jen for a while. She owns Black Mountain Cooling, an HVAC company. And this is what I know about Jen. She's an extremely hard worker. As she was telling me her story, I could see the underlying theme of determination and work, and they were able to open their own company. They have a company in Chicago, and they have a company here now. So I also know that she is non-corporate. We don't like those corporate people coming in and, yeah, we're gonna do a little tune-up or whatever, but I'm gonna sell you this, this, and this. They don't do that. They have integrity, and I appreciate knowing her.
Like Julie said, my name is Jen Grubbs, owner of Black Mountain Cooling. We are a local AC shop. We like to say we're a local feel of a company. We want to actually get to know our customers. We want to service them well. One thing I love is that when people call us, they're usually in dire straits, especially here in Arizona, because when your heat goes out, or AC goes out, you actually have to go to a hotel. And so from Chicago, that's not what we experience, so it's a little bit different. But here, I really feel like when people call us and we can ask our guys, because our service guys are very dedicated, they know what they're doing, they have excellent skills. We can get somebody out quickly because they'll put in the extra time. We can say, hey, can you run this one more call tonight? This person really needs it. If they only have one system, we like to do things a little differently because we prioritize what calls are important for that day. And we are excellent at scheduling. We like to be on time. It's kind of that we like to say Midwest work ethic brought here to Arizona, and we're just slowly growing. But as we do, we want to just keep on making those connections and having people share who we are and what we do. And we want to stay up in this north area. We don't want to be the biggest. We're not going to be the cheapest, but we want to be the most professional. So thank you. And I would like to introduce Joanne Hoffman, which I have just recently met, and she does something that I really have not gotten an opportunity to chat with her about, generational music. I don't even know what that is, and it sounds fascinating. She's also a music teacher here in the Scottsdale area. So
thank you so much, appreciate it. Yes, let's give a round of applause. All right, my name is Joanne Hoffman. I am a music teacher part-time. I have my master's degree in music education, and every time I went to do our concerts with our band or our choirs, I noticed that grandparents would be, tapping their foot. Or I noticed the little ones, 1 to 3 years old, would really want to be a part of the music. So this was birthed from just 15 years of teaching music. And, thanks to my business partner, too, who's going to speak in a moment, we're entrepreneurs as well, so we were able to launch this. So this is a passion project. The best thing about what I do is I get to take music that I do with the bands and the choir in the schools, and I'm able to translate that to the little ones with mommy and me, sometimes daddies. I love when they come, daddy and me music classes. And I also do that at assisted living. I just did one the other day at the Grove, and I brought in Elvis. So I'm looking to connect with maybe Dimitri today, or even those pop-up tents where I can do some entertainment. Yes, so my name is Joanne Hoffman with Generational Music, and love to come out and do some shows. But this next person I want to introduce, he owns multiple businesses, a tree business, a lighting business, but today he wants to talk about his health business that we run together. I'm going to let him take the floor, but thanks to him losing 105 pounds, we do sleep together every single day.
I'm done, that's it.
You gotta keep it spicy, baby.
I'm Adam Hoffman. I'm going to talk about a couple things today. First off, we do have an LED lighting business. Think permanent Christmas lights. They go on your fascia, they go on your eaves, they go in your gutters. They're all app controlled and 100% blend into your building. And that's fun, I love it. But my passion is health and wellness. Like Joanne said, I lost 105 pounds 6 years ago. I've kept it off, and that became a business of helping and serving others in that way. So my favorite thing about that is finding and connecting with people who really want to make a change in their life,
but they feel stuck. They don't know where to start, right? Maybe they're intimidated by the gym. They're not ready for that yet, but they need something to start the wheels turning in that right direction. And that's really what we do. So we have a wide variety of tools, from nutrition to fitness to one-on-one coaching to all kinds of different things that we can use to help people start moving the ball forward. And so really what I'm looking to connect with right now are people who are either on the GLP-1 Ozempic shots or are thinking about it. I would love to have a conversation with them about what that means long-term for their health, for their fitness, for their longevity, and how we can partner with them to give them a specific set of skills so they're not dependent upon that drug for the rest of their life. So yeah, Temple Builders Coaching, Sunset Luxury Lighting, answer all of the above. Hit me up. I'll hook you up front.
Adam, will you intro John?
Oh, yeah. So, coming up is John, real estate guru,
all right,
community builder, connector, networker, and has the best laugh of anybody I've ever met.
Thanks, guys. So, yeah, I'm a real estate agent. If you want to buy or sell a house, give me a call. But more importantly, a couple things. We have an art show going on here tomorrow night in the house. We did it last year, and it was just a blowout success, right? So it's fantastic, ton of people. It's going to be a great time. At 6 o'clock? Yeah, 6 o'clock. So it's 6 o'clock here. And then, if you guys don't know, Chef Joe, who's been a member of the group for a long, long time, is opening up a cafe in Greyhawk. So it's right at Scottsdale Road and Frank Lloyd Wright, I believe. But Curie Cafe, killer place, going to be open starting next week, so check it out. And I will introduce my friend Amber. Did we do that already? No. So, Dr. Amber Enright, who is my business partner and also a physical therapist and a connector and a fabulous networker.
Hi, my name's Amber Enright. I am a physical therapist here in the Valley, and most people think that they know what PT is until they see a little bit more of what PTs could be. I do in-home care, so I do not bill insurance. That's to give private quality care more effectively than I could under the insurance-based system. And I primarily treat things most people don't want to touch. Dementia, brain cancer, Parkinson's disease, and people who've been chronically ill and weak from the hospital. Those are very different than what most people think PT is, and that is the best part of my job, is that every single person that I see comes in like a little puzzle, and I have to put each of them together in a different way, and it's really cool. I was inspired by growing up in foster care and seeing kids who had very unique needs transition into more functional, effective young people that could be anything they wanted to be. Because before, they really couldn't. They had no skills. They were only reactionary, and I was that way too. So this job has been my purpose, and it's really helped me in my own life. Maybe take down some of the armor that I've developed. Hopefully I can do that some more. But otherwise, I feel like I have the best job in America, and it's what I was built to do. Amber Enright, the therapy doctor, moving you with heart.